Hey, this is Ray here from the 5th grade Beta Club, and today I'm going to be reading you Ida Always by Karen Lewis and Charles Santoso. Here we go. Gus lived in a big park in the middle of an even bigger city. Buildings grew around him and he shifted the shape of the sky. Zookeepers poked in and out. Visitors came and went. But every morning, when keys clicked and shoes clacked, Gus crawled out of his cave and spent his day with Ida. Ida was right there, always. When Gus tossed the ball, Ida was there to catch it. And when Gus splashed water, Ida was there to splash right back at him. They chased and raced until school bells rang. Then two friends flopped onto their favorite rock while the city pulsed around them. I wish we could see it, Gus sighed. You don't have to see it to feel it, said Ida. Listen. They heard buses groan, trucks rumble, police whistle, taxis honk, pigeons coo. People say, hey, wait, yo, hello, and children laugh. That's the city's heartbeat, said Ida. It's always right there with us. When the sky grew dark, Gus and Ida waved goodnight and crawled off to their caves. When the subways humming underground, they added their snores to the sounds of the city. Every day was always the same. Until one morning, when keys clicked and shoes clacked, Gus crawled out. But Ida wasn't there. Gus slumbered to Ida's cave. He heard her breathing, coughing, snoring, sleeping. She sat there in the sunniest spot and waited. The coffee carts around their beans and squirrels squabbed over crumbs. Visitors shuffled and keepers bustled out. Ida had never slept so late. Snow monkeys and taxicabs screeched. Ice cream trucks jingled. Still, Ida didn't come. Keeper Sonia came instead. Sonia told Gus that Ida was very sick. Usually there's no way to make a sick bear better. But this time was different. Ida wouldn't hurt, but she would get tired and too weak to swim and play. Then one day, when her body stopped working, Ida would die. Sonia's voice was soft. But the words felt rough to Gus. His insides churned, his chin shook, the sky rumbled. Gus rushed to his friend. Don't go, he growled. Don't go, don't go, don't! Ida growled right back. Together they stomped and snarled, their growls into howls, so loud they filled up with the zoo, rising higher than skyscrapers, scaring pigeons surging toward the scars. And they stopped. The two friends folded in one shadow and slumped quietly on the rocks. Two bears' noises sniffled. The two bears breathed, breaths panted. Two bear hearts echoed each other's beat. The plane roared overhead. Gus and Ida wondered where it was going. They wondered where Ida was going to. They wondered and guessed and imagined. They whispered nose to nose. Wherever I go, said Ida, I bet I'll always smell your fishy breath. That made Gus smile. He wasn't sure if he should, but Ida was giggling too. They let their laughs bounce back and forth between them. From now on, Ida spent most days in her cave. She slept a lot, but she didn't hurt. The keepers took good care of her, and Gus helped. He gathered her favorite toys and fishy treats. He brought her visitors notes. There were growling days, laughing days, and days that mixed them up. Sometimes Ida needed a moment alone, and sometimes Gus did too. But at the end of each day, Gus always told Ida, I miss you. Ida always told Gus, I miss you too. They would cuddle up in the sky, grew dark, until the lamps of the city clicked on. They would wave goodnight 1,000 times, but wave a few more times. Then, one sunny day, while Gus smoothed her fur, Ida curled into quiet. Her eyes fluttered shut, and they didn't open any more. Gus pressed one last pat into Ida's paw. The papers shared the news. The city cried. For days the zoo was filled with goodbyes. Goodbye, Ida. Now when keys click and shoes clack, Gus crawls out of his cave, knowing Ida won't be there. He dives and swims alone. He eats his lunch with Sonia. They roll Ida's favorite yellow ball. Some days Gus forgets. He looks for Ida on the rock in her cave behind the waterfall. When she remembers she isn't there, he rests in the shadows. But even in the shadows, the sound of the icy city reaches him. He hears buses groan, trucks rumble, police whistle, taxis honk, pigeons coo. People say, "Hey, wait, ho, yeah, hello," and children laugh. Gus smiles. He steps into the spot where Ida liked to soak in the sun. He listens to the city pulsing around him. He remembers that Ida said, "You don't have to see it to feel it." The sidewalks tap and the streets hum. Gus's heart beats. And Ida is right there. Always.